Welcome to another episode of Cyber Secrets.
Good morning. Today we're going to talk about a tool called XnView. XnView is actually a pretty interesting tool and very useful when doing any sort of image analysis, graphic image analysis. For example, right now we have a picture highlighted up on top, and this is the good old Cyber Secrets logo. So here we have the properties, and the properties are going to be part of the meta information of this individual file. Some JPEGs, some pictures do have extra information inside here, especially when it's tied to, it's called EXIF information. This one does not, but it does have this IPTC, which is commonly used for things like copyright information. With that said, within here we have the basic file name, file size, and this is the operating system information tied to created, modified, and access timestamp. So this is in the file system. So this is not the meta inside the file, but content under the image is. This is going to be the meta related directly to the OS within, for example, like the NTFS file system or the FAT32 file system. But what's cool about XnView is you have these little images right next to the image, and you can tell it as IPTC, and it also has basic ICC characterization. And then we go to, let's say, this picture. This picture does have EXIF information. And I know it's kind of hard to see it, but we can see at the very bottom right, it says EXIF. When we click on it, we see EXIF right here. So again, as we can see, timestamps from the operating system. And then when we click EXIF, this is where we get some other interesting content. So again, the camera that took the picture. If a camera didn't take the picture, a lot of times the software that created it dumps it in here. But anytime, even if you do take a picture with the camera, edit it with the software here usually gets updated. So we'll go to the next picture right next to it here in just a second to show that. But again, it's a lot of interesting information. The biggest thing is we have timestamps. So this would be the timestamp related to software or the camera that took the picture, which could definitely be different than under the properties here. So here we see 2019-09-05. And here we do see a 09-05-2019. So this is when it was modified. And you can see that you have modification versus creation and access. So sometimes with the operating system, it doesn't update properly. So you do need to be careful on that when doing any sort of computer forensics. Because this was the day where the time set they were actually copied into another folder, but modified was the time that the last time that Adobe Photoshop touched it. Now we're going to go to this one. So we can see here it says XMP, IPTC, another EXIF. So when we click on this picture, again, preview, picture of a fire at a campground. Go back to EXIF. You now see it's a Canon Rebel T5i that actually took the picture, but it was modified by Photoshop CC 2017. So again, you do see the date modified. Scroll down a little bit further. Now we're starting to see some other interesting information that came directly from the camera, like shutter speed, exposure, flash was turned on, which could be useful depending on how much in depth you want to get into the actual analysis. But here says GPS, there's nothing there, so we don't have any longitude latitude coordinates. So we'll take a picture of this one right here. This one we do. So again, do a preview. Picture you took while traveling. Go to properties. Again, created and accessed. That's a timestamp of when it was copied into the folder. And then 0616 is when the last time it was modified. So if we go to the EXIF, you can see this was taken from a Samsung. This is a cell phone. So an SM J737V. And it was edited by Adobe Photoshop. So last time it was modified by Photoshop was 2019-06. But what's interesting about this is we see right here, it does say GPS at the very bottom right-hand side. So go and scroll down, and then we're looking again, a lot of good information, but now we have GPS coordinates. And then you can also verify the date of the picture was taken based off of GIPS coords, last modified, and of course the OS timestamps. So all the timestamps within here are definitely of evidentiary value. What's really cool about XnView is it does have GPS listed here. We could right click on it, then go to Open GPS Location in GeoHack. And it has a bunch of different websites that you can push it out to, but it gives you a good idea of really where you actually took the picture or the suspect doing forensics. And sometimes these are off a little bit, but what you see is the same building, just from a different angle. And then verifying it with preview. So you're down a little bit here and going back to the previous window. This is just, you see the same building. So this image was probably taken looking for a wall. There's a good probability it's on the other side of this wall right down here. So this is where you can get a lot of good information. Again, like I mentioned before, directly from the EXIF. XnView, really easy to use. It's free. It's open source, which makes it a lot more valuable as well.